I'm a liberal and a proud socialist, Mr. Speaker.
Love this story. 2-day trip to his communist friends in Beijing. Communist China cost $140,000 at least. All the records aren't in. The National Post story up late last night. I saw it this morning and I said, my God, doesn't that say it all? Doesn't that say it all? And it's not that 140K is that much money when you consider how much money the Liberal government wastes, how much money government per se wastes. But it's the principle and it's the symbolic meaning of this. Here's a guy who's always telling you, you've got to sacrifice. You got to turn your lights off. You've got to freeze this winter. You've got to be able to not drive your car or travel by air. And he's the one that's creating the huge carbon footprint, going to China to meet with his communist buddies. And he's flying overseas and he's eating at the best hotels in Beijing. He's eating and he's staying at the best hotels in Beijing. He's eating up taxpayer money. He's living like a king. The climate czar is living like a king, and he doesn't care anything for you. He could not care less.
Food after 8 years of inflation. But yesterday he couldn't answer how a mushroom farm in my riding is supposed to pay its $100,000 carbon tax bill. Well, he did send the farm a Christmas present, a new bill. This is the November 9th to December 6th bill. Federal carbon tax, $16,050 for 1 month. And it's not even winter yet, Mr. Speaker. How would the Prime Minister like this farm to pay this $16,000 monthly bill? Raise food prices?
The Honourable Minister of Environment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy to be back.
How much money it costs because he's so special. He's on a very special mission for you. He's out to save the world from climate change. And it doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter what kind of a hypocrite he looks like. Increasing his personal carbon footprint, well, it's 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times the carbon footprint that you are allowed to create. When you can't buy gas, when you can't heat your home, you can't even turn your lights on because of the carbon tax and because he wants you to hit net zero.
There will be limitations on how much natural gas you can use.
Yes, absolutely. That's what fighting climate change looks like. Limiting the amount of fossil fuels we're using. And we're doing that in the transportation sector. We're doing that in the cement sector. We're doing that in the steel and aluminum sector. We're also doing it in the electricity sector, and we're doing it in the oil and gas sector.
By 2025, yeah, and 2030, there's more restrictions on the way. It keeps coming and coming and coming.
When we came into power in 2015, emissions were going through the roof, and now we've been able to reduce emissions levels 7% below 2005 level. That's like removing more than 20 million cars in terms of climate change pollution from our roads. We know we have more to do, and that's why in the last year alone we've introduced 6 new pieces of regulations to ensure that Canada reaches our target in 2030. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So he was at COP28, Conference of Partners 28, the UN Climate Change Conference, which laughably was held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, in the middle of the desert. Here they are almost 2 weeks, the air conditioning blasting in 5-star hotels, having the time of their life, wining and dining themselves all night long. And throughout the day, virtue signaling as much as they can. Once again, there's Guilbeault burning up your tax dollars because he doesn't care. He just thinks he's a star. He thinks he's a celebrity. And all he really is a stuntman for Greenpeace. That's all he's ever been. He's a non-entity who Justin Trudeau has invited into the Liberal cabinet. He is a Manchurian candidate. He is a useful idiot for the communists. Loves to call himself a proud socialist. I think he's more. So what happened at COP28? Let's have a look here. The end is coming for dirty energy. Well, I don't know. Why is it dirty energy? Because they have this misconception in their little heads that carbon is pollution. You hear it from moronic Justin Trudeau every day in question period. We have a tax on pollution. Tax on pollution. It's what he calls the carbon tax. And of course, carbon is not a pollution. Justin Trudeau's words are pollution. His government is pollution. His policies are pollution, but carbon is not a pollution. And so here we have the COP28 deciding for us all that fossil fuels are going out. We're going to transition away. Now, there is a lot of wiggle room there. I hope. Hopefully, the Arab countries that hosted this are smart enough to know that this is going to mean the extinction of their economies. And it's going to mean the extinction of the energy sector in Canada if they follow through this insanity. And it's going to mean we're going to freeze. We're not going to be able to keep the economy going on so-called green energy because it can't fulfill enough of the need. You can't do it with solar panels and windmills. All you're accomplishing is improving the Chinese economy that manufactures most of the solar panels, and you're killing birds. And the windmills on the coast in the ocean are killing whales. So, ironically, Greenpeace, which used to be about saving the whales, is killing the whales now.
Hi, this is David Crayden from Crayden's Right and Stand on Guard. Join the resistance. Resolve to resist. Become a member of this station. I've been practicing journalism in one form or another for over 30 years. I've worked in print, radio, and television for a lot of prestigious publications and media outlets. I was an Armed Forces Public Affairs officer. I worked in Parliament Hill. I know how Ottawa works, and I know how corrupt federal government can be. But you can play a part in opposing Justin Trudeau's government and Justin Trudeau's plans for Canada. You can become a part of the Crayden's Right resistance. Now, I urge you today, please support this station in any way you can. Ring that bell, subscribe, because that ensures you're at least going to continue to be able to watch these episodes. You'll beat the algorithm. But more importantly, I need your financial support. I hate to ask, but that's what I'm doing. I made a decision to pursue independent media because I believed it was the best possible route for me to take as a journalist and as a concerned citizen of Canada. So you can become a part of that. And at only $5, you can become a part of that on YouTube, on Substack, and with Buy Me a Coffee, a one-time donation. But I need your support. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. If you've already done that, if you're already supporting the station, thank you. But if you haven't, make that decision today